Hey, hey, welcome back, guys. All right, so Capricorns, let's go ahead and take a little peek at what is going on behind the mask. And this is for them, whatever has been kind of hidden behind the mask. Six of Swords. Capricorn, this could be somebody that is trying to move on, possibly from Capricorn, or they could be trying to move on and move into calmer waters. They're looking at their future. Maybe there's things in their life that they're trying to get organized and conduct their affairs differently. We have a Queen of Cups. Okay, right now, this actually says that we may have somebody that is trying really hard to imagine that they can move forward, that there will be, better days ahead, that I don't know if this is that they hope Capricorn will love them and take them back later, or if this is them saying, I guess it's time that I move on. Maybe someone else will love me. Let me go a couple more cards, then we'll ask. We have Magician sideways. All I can say is that this is wobbly at best. What are your emotions that you're hiding in regards to Capricorn? We've got Hierophant sideways. This feels like they're squashing something about how they know they actually feel. Their higher self is what they're trying to drown out right now. Queen of Swords, Hanged Man, Ten of Wands, and the Chariot. I would say that in this storyline, this looks like somebody who's saying, I know Capricorn moved on. I know that they did. Deep down, that's the way I feel about this. Is Capricorn left the building. Capricorn moved on without me. Capricorn's no longer hanging around. They're no longer, on board with wanting to be with me. Capricorn cut me out of their life. And even if I wait, I don't think it'll do me any good. I think that every day that passes, Capricorn gets more over me and moves on more confidently. Okay, so no wonder they're trying to tell themselves, I got to let this go. I got to let this go because even though I don't want to, I feel like Capricorn's done with me. Why do you feel this way? Why is this the energy that we got a King of Swords in the reverse, and we got the Ace of Pentacles sideways. This is somebody who seems to be they're feeling pretty blue right now. This is somebody feeling pretty low at the moment. What is that song? I never felt so low, or never been so low. Yeah, this does not look very happy for this character at the moment. They are in a rut, but they also may be able to acknowledge, the way I behave is the way I've behaved. Maybe this is who I am. I kind of feel like this person has a little bit of not even they like the way they behave, but they're like, I don't know how to be different. They could be a Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, so super intelligent, but this still says, I don't know how to change. Maybe they're difficult. Maybe this is somebody who tends to be difficult to be around, or they tend to, create drama, or they tend to, where they maybe wish that they could have said something soft and loving. They don't. That's not what comes out of their lips or something. It's definitely a person who gets into a rut. They might also be somebody who, I'm so sorry to say this, but this could be a habitual liar. And I just say that because the King of Swords should be very truthful. In the reverse, he can be the reverse of all the things that he should be. So instead of truthful, fair, balanced, unbiased, this could be somebody who is very biased, who is very untruthful. And they're saying, I know that what Capricorn expected from me was real truth. And they said their truth, which is, I'm done waiting. I'm moving away from you. This is how they feel this whole thing went down. What aspect of this are you really working on hiding? Is it just that you don't want to tell Capricorn that you see it this way, or are you hiding this from everybody? 9 of Coins sideways. Okay, so they're bluffing that everything's great. I feel so empowered, everything. Oh, I love being single. Oh yeah, no, me and Capricorn, we broke up. Oh, it's, you know what? Just two different personalities or whatever. They might be brushing this off. They're trying to avoid talking about Capricorn if other people, especially in the workplace, ask them questions. They could travel for work. This is like a merchant, or they do some kind of merchandising or something, but they are trying to stay away from people. They might be taking jobs, in particular, taking routes or something where they can stay away from other people because they don't want to be asked about Capricorn. They're definitely withholding the real situation. Yes, they are deep down just trying to focus on, I'll guess somebody else. I'll find somebody else who will love me. I've got to find somebody else who will love me. Again, Queen of Cups. I don't think this person already has somebody else, like, slated exactly. Although I don't know. I mean, maybe in this storyline, as tough as this one is, it could be that we have a character who is like thinking, I want to find somebody who's like really, really loving and really, really, maybe even like a pushover. Look, Capricorn was no pushover. If this person is looking for a pushover, somebody that will dote on them because they want to be loved, I could see somebody who's in a king in the reverse energy wanting that. It's not fair, but kings and queens in the reverse are not going to act fair. I almost think that they want somebody to make them feel special because it really sucks and it really hurts that Capricorn has shut the door on them. And I would say Capricorn has shut the door on this person. We got a bonus message last night, and it was kind of a rocky one also. When I say that, what I mean is I think I recall it being one of those situations where Capricorn was done dealing with somebody. So it's funny to get that, not haha funny, but it's interesting to get that message twice in a row. Different decks, different setup, different everything. By the way, I will re-release that video when I can. It was that it got caught in that forever, ever, never-ending processing cycle. So someday when it's done processing, I will re-release it for Capricorns. But it was a bumpy one. But I feel like this is, you know what? I'm so sorry. I always tell whatever story we get, whether it be good, bad, or ugly. Please do remember these are fictional. But we have somebody that I think is very self-indulgent, very self-serving. If they can go maybe drink a little too much and forget that all of this is upsetting, if they can go get somebody else to give them some attention, somebody that's a real softie, a real pushover, if they can keep hiding from the fact that it really hurts that they lost Capricorn. Look, Capricorn's the one who broke it off with them because of, well, what looks like bad behavior. Capricorn's the one who rode off with their head held high. This was Capricorn's choice to walk away. But it just says that what they're hiding is the fact that it's really hard to get over Capricorn, but they're using kind of like every coping mechanism that they can think of. Maybe I'll go out and buy myself something fancy. Maybe I'll go out to the bar or the pub, drink a little too much. Maybe I'll meet somebody who's a real pushover who will just make me feel super special, hang on my every word, make me feel like I'm the center of somebody's universe. Maybe I'll avoid everybody so I don't have to talk about the fact that Capricorn and I aren't together. And maybe I'll swagger around and act like, oh, I've never had a better day. Everything is so perfect. Like, that's how this character is coming across. It is just like rampant, any way that I can hide. It's like, I'm picturing like in the cartoons where like somebody's little boat springs a hole and, the cartoon cat slaps this little paw over it, but then another hole, and then they slap their other paw, and pretty soon their tail, their paw, and, their boat keeps having holes in it. This doesn't seem to be the way they actually feel. But I will say this. In this story, we do not see them trying to sort stuff out with Capricorn. We don't see them working toward sorting stuff out with Capricorn. We see them possibly thinking, I have a lot of regrets and I'm not used to feeling shame or guilt. I don't like this. I don't like this one bit, and I don't know how to handle it. I feel like this is, we got the Seven of Cups. That Seven of Cups is, I honestly think maybe this is the first time in their life they've ever felt this much disappointment, and they don't know how to handle this. My impression is that this could have been somebody who, let's go back to that King of Swords in the reverse that described them. My impression is that this King of Swords that Capricorn was dealing with was perhaps extremely full of themselves. Maybe they always thought they were the smartest person in the room. I don't know if they walked around and sashayed their way through life like everyone else was inferior to their, great brain. This person, if they're unused to feeling disappointed because they're unused to having people that actually touch their heart, so therefore it never mattered. They didn't really fall for anybody before. And now that Capricorn is the one who said no thank you to them, I don't know if they're used to being, put down like that, to being put off, I feel like this is a new emotional experience for them, which is, I have regret. It's like, ouch. there's something in my chest that is bugging me, and it's like, that's your heart. Your heart is bothered because your conscience is bothered because you're sad over Capricorn. And it's like, what? I don't know about that emotion. Like, that's how this comes across. That is how this comes across. We got a Queen of Wands. I really think for this character, they keep trying to tell themselves that there will be somebody else that will dazzle and delight them instead of dealing with their big regrets. Look, I don't know if maybe they did meet somebody that they were flirtatious with, and or if that's why Capricorn walked away. Can I just ask that? Why do they think Capricorn said no thank you to them? Queen of Swords upright once again. Capricorn stood in some kind of power and either said, here's my expectation, here's my boundary, you've crossed my boundary, something along those lines. We have the Knight of Coins. Hi, V. How are you? Thanks for being here, babe. With this Knight of Coins, this is slow moving energy. And we did see before when we were asking, how do they view things with Capricorn? We saw them say, well, Capricorn said that they're basically done waiting. They're not bothered by this anymore, and they're out. Capricorn left. And it does look like maybe they were like dragging their feet on either making a real declaration of what their intentions were with Capricorn, or maybe they were moving really slowly in a way that it was like, I feel like I'm getting played with, or I feel like I'm not really on your priority list. Something here. Why did Capricorn feel that way, that this was taking way too long? Ace of Cups. They're saying, well, Capricorn wanted me to declare love. Really? I'm a little curious about that. Wheel of Fortune. They're saying it was just all about the timing. Emperor in the reverse, Hierophant upright. This brings one more thing into question in this storyline. I could read this as, were they actually still married to someone and they weren't actually divorced, but they'd said they were, and really they were slow walking a relationship with Capricorn because, in fact, they said they were divorced when they were very, very much still married. That could be the way we could read this, or it goes right back around to, they're saying, well, Capricorn wanted me to give them a declaration of love, but I wasn't ready to do that. In divine timing, I would have, if they were a good boy or a good girl. Because an Emperor in the reverse, much like that King of Swords in the reverse, can be so tyrannical, so full of themselves. They think that everybody kowtows to them. Bow to me. If you're a good boy or a good girl, I'll decide when I'll actually, show you love or respect. The only thing about this is seeing that Capricorn has come across as a very powerful Queen of Swords twice in this story. It makes me think, I don't think Capricorn would have put up with any of this. So I'm a little more leaning toward the storyline where, is it possible that Capricorn slowly but surely figured out, wait a minute, you're still married. Oh, and by the way, you're still married, as in you're dragging out. If that's what that Piscean energy of the Hanged Man was all about, that could be why Capricorn said, okay, so I can understand it if somebody is, I'm in the middle of a divorce, we filed paperwork, blah, blah, blah. But if you're never really finishing the paperwork, then I think I'm going to go. And I feel like Capricorn must have given this person some time. It feels underneath all of this. And keep in mind, this storyline was about peeling away the layers of the onion to try to figure out what's the real thing that's been hidden. And you notice they didn't really want to admit this. We kind of had to unpeel the onion to this point. I'm wondering if the real reason Capricorn walked away from them is because they really were not single and they weren't taking action to become single. And if that's the thing they didn't really want to admit, I know exactly why Capricorn walked away from me. It's because I was still sitting in the pretense of not being married while I was very much still legally married or legally beholden to someone else. It wasn't about, well, Capricorn wanted me to say that I love him. No. Capricorn expected you to be single, or Capricorn expected you not still be living with somebody else. I think Capricorn was fair and mature about it. It seems like they listened. They said, okay, so this is what you're telling me, but do your actions match your words? I've given you some time, because adulting is hard. Real life, well, this is fictional, right? But, for characters that are mature, you got to scrape together the money to be able to move. You got to, separate. You got to sell stuff. Like all that makes sense. I can give you time. But if nothing is changing, then I waited long enough. That was reasonable. You didn't change anything. Therefore, I can now leave. And I know I'm not missing out on anything. I think Capricorn was, in this storyline, Capricorn was very fair, waited, saw the writing on the wall, and then made their decision accordingly. And that is something that this person hasn't really wanted to admit, but we kind of have deduced this when we finally got to the core of all of this. That's too bad that that's what they did, but I can see why they don't really want to admit that. We've seen them as someone who kind of dodges real accountability in this story. Doesn't mean that's always how they are. It's just at least on this topic. They're even trying to dodge accountability because it sucks that Capricorn's gone. But I don't know. Would you have done something different knowing now this is why you lost, Capricorn? King of Cups. Yeah, maybe I would have. I don't know that their pride will let them. No, as I say that, we get the devil. I was going to say, yeah, I think in retrospect, if they had started things on a different foot with Capricorn, but here's the thing, this is crazy because I think they're still under this impression, or they're telling themselves, I mean, I guess I should have just said, all right, Capricorn, I do love you. They wanted to argue before that that's kind of what Capricorn wanted from them. That's not what was at the heart of all this. And even here, they're like, yeah, I wish I had just said that I love you, Capricorn. That still seems to be like them dodging real responsibility and looking at this with clear eyes. Look, in this storyline, this person comes across as a very difficult personality. They come across as somebody who lies to themselves a lot. They come across as somebody who doesn't want to look at the real reasons that Capricorn even had to put up a boundary with them. It seems like they try to avoid all acknowledgement of the role that they played and what's at the heart of this problem. I kind of think in this storyline, maybe it's a good thing that they have to sit there and not be with Capricorn, because it seems like they got a lot of growing to do. Like they need to do a lot of growing. Whether or not they will, I don't know. One final message here, just from universe's perspective. This just says for Capricorn to have a sense of peace. Maybe there's a very, very good reason that this person cannot be in Capricorn's life right now. I mean, Capricorn themselves, if from their own perspective, they say Capricorn walked away from me. And it kind of looks like Capricorn listened to their divine guidance and said, I want peace in my life. I want balance. I want equality. I'm more at peace walking away from this situation than trying to continue to deal with it. And the universe is like, never sacrifice your peace. Make the good decisions for yourself. If this person has gobs of maturing to do, it's nice to see that Capricorn doesn't have to hold their hand for that. Alana Williams, hi, honey. Thank you so much. Avi, it is my pleasure. Thank you for being here, love. All right, you guys, take care. I will see you again very soon. All right, bye for right now.